Namaskar and welcome to my channel Kundali, Understanding Horoscope the Vedic Way. In today's video, I'll start with the basics of a Kundali, how it looks, and what are the different sections of a Kundali. And then, towards the end of this video, I'll show you the first step needed to learn in order to start reading a Kundali. But first things first, what is a Kundali? A Kundali or horoscope is a chart which represents the position of planets at the time of one's birth. So, how do we create one's Kundali? We can do it online for free or consult a Jyotish who can create one for you the traditional way by using a patra. If you don't know what is a patra, don't worry. I will be posting a video explaining and discussing that in near future. So, getting back to Kundali, the information needed to create a Kundali is surprisingly little. It's date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. That's it. Now, let's understand what a Kundali looks like. Think of the Kundali as a representation of the sky at the location and time of your birth. Imagine the sky divided into 12 parts similar to the picture on the left here. The 12 houses in the Kundali represent these 12 sections of the sky. Now, as you can imagine, planets will be represented in different positions and locations in the sky. What you see in the Kundali is the location of these planets in the sky at the time of your birth. On the right side, you see a Kundali representation of the sky which is divided into 12 sections or houses or sthaans with planets in them represented as short form text. How do we understand this? For example, ME, which stands for Mercury or Budh, was in the 7th quadrant at the time of your birth. Similarly, other planets are represented based on their positions in the sky at the time of your birth. This is the most famous and most commonly visible part of one's Kundali. But this is just the beginning. A Kundali comprises of a lot of other things. Now let's look at what are the fundamental components of a Kundali. They include the Lagna and Bhav chart in the previous slide, planets, rashis or astrological signs, dasha and yoga. There are many other things in a Kundali which we will get into in other videos on this channel. We will start by understanding Sthaan, Ghar or Bhav Vichaar. As mentioned earlier, Sthaan is a representation of the sky split into 12 sections arranged in the order shown here. Now let's think about the significance of these sthaans. Another way of looking at them is house or ghar literally. Each house or sthaan is akin to a real world house with different characteristics. They represent different attributes of one's life such as happiness, marriage, money, etc. Each house acts as a real world house in the sense they are owned by different grahs or planets, and different planets sit in them. As you can imagine, if a favorable planet owns your happiness house, your likelihood of happiness increases. I will talk about this later in other videos, but it's important to think of 12 sthaans similar to real world houses with owners and tenants. This analogy will help in various advanced interpretations as well. Now, let's go over each sthaan one by one and understand what are the different aspects of one's life they govern. First house or Pehla sthaan is also called Lagna or Lagna sthaan. It governs our body, health, appearance, and head, among other things. Second house or Doosra sthaan is also called Dhan sthaan. It governs Dhan or money, food, right eye, face, voice, family, among other things. Third house or Teesra Sthaan is also called Prakram Sthaan. As the name suggests, it governs bravery, brother, sister, chest, right ear, among other things. Fourth house or Chautha Sthaan is also called Sukh Sthaan. It governs house, farm, friends, mother, clothes, material happiness, among other things. Fifth house or Panchwa Sthaan is also called Vidya Sthaan. As the name suggests, it governs education, soul, wisdom, children, among other things. Chhatha Sthaan or sixth house is also called Shatru Sthaan. It governs enemies, loans, illness, weapons, fear, among other things. Seventh house or Satwa Sthaan is also called Pati Patni Sthaan. As the name suggests, it governs spouse, desires, and other things as well. Eighth house or Athwa Sthaan is also called Mrityu Sthaan. It governs age, stress, Manglik Yog, losses, death, piles, infamy, mental illness, among other things. Ninth house or Navasthan is also called Bhagyasthan. As the name suggests, it governs luck, teacher or guru, grandchildren, lineage, worship, or in other words, puja, and religious activities. Tenth house or Daswasthan is also called Karmsthan. It governs karm, business, being famous, career, behavior, among other things. Eleventh house or Gyaravwa Sthan is also called Eye Sthan. As the name suggests, it governs eye or income, well-being, big brother sister, left ear, and good news. And finally, the Bharavva Sthan or Vyay Sthan is also called 12th house. It governs Vyay or expenditure, sadness, legs, left eye, end times, and poverty. Now that we have looked at what each sthan governs, let's briefly look at how they are grouped. These groupings help us remember the nature of each sthan. The four main categories are Kendra Sthaan, Papasthan, Labasthan, and Trikona. As shown in the image here, Kendra Sthans are 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. They have extra significance in the Kundali as they govern key aspects of our lives, some of which I have discussed earlier in this video. Papasthan or bad houses are 6, 8, and 12. They govern typically negative things in our life, such as death, illness, etc. I will discuss them in more detail in my later videos on this channel. Labasthan are all houses which are not bad houses, which, if you remember, are 6, 8, and 12. So the remaining houses, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11, are all considered good houses or Labasthan. There is another category of houses which is called Trikona or triangle sthaans, which are 1, 5, and 9. Trikon sthaans combined with Kendra Sthaan are very important in the Kundali, and if good, indicate good things in life. Now, to give you a taste of how we can start at reading a Kundali, here is a Kundali with 12 sthaans labeled. Let's say you want to check problem in eyes. For that, the first step would be to look at the sthaans 2 or 12, depending on which eye it is, as I mentioned earlier. Another example would be to try to figure out educational prospects. In that case, sthaan 5 is the place to start your analysis with. Similarly, for monetary gains, sthaan 11 is the starting point, and so on and so forth. In my next video, I will be discussing planets and their properties so we can take our Kundali analysis to the next level. Dhanyavad and thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and like this video.